Have you ever wondered what really goes on behind the scenes in those massive corporate IT projects? Well, there's a new channel that's promising to pull back the curtain and give us the unfiltered truth about enterprise transformation. And today, we're going to dive in and see exactly what that's all about.
You know, this quote right here, it just hits the nail on the head. We've all sat through those meetings, right? You see the polished slide decks, the perfect roadmaps, but the reality of actually getting it done, that is a completely different and often a much messier story. And if you go looking for answers online, you just get hit with this tidal wave of content about frameworks and the latest tools and just a non-stop stream of buzzwords. It all sounds amazing in theory, but almost never captures what happens inside a real organization when the rubber has to meet the road. Which, of course, leads us to the million-dollar question. What is actually happening behind those closed conference room doors? What are the real conversations, the tough calls, and all those hidden challenges that never, ever make it into the official case studies? So this disconnect between the plan and the reality, it's so common it actually has a name, the execution gap. It's that tricky, complicated space where these beautifully crafted strategies just collide head-on with the messy world of real-world implementation. And you can see this gap really has two totally different faces. On the outside, all we hear are the buzzwords, frameworks, amazing tools, simple solutions. But inside the company, the reality is a constant battle. It's about making hard trade-offs, dealing with budget constraints, in these invisible decisions that get made under just immense pressure. It's the difference between how simple it looks and how tangled and complex it truly is. And look, this isn't just some theory. This whole perspective comes from someone who has actually lived it. We're talking about a chief digital and information officer with nearly 2 decades on the front lines, leading these massive transformation programs. This is insight that was earned, down in the trenches. So the big question is, how do we bridge this gap? Well, the answer seems to lie in getting a totally unfiltered perspective from someone who's actually been there, making those tough calls. And that's where this new channel, CDIO Unfiltered, comes into play. Its mission is really simple, to create a space for honest, real conversations about what it actually takes to get the work done, moving way beyond theory and into day-to-day practice. And it operates on a simple promise, built on 3 core rules. First, no vendor bias. Nobody's trying to sell you something. Second, no confusing jargon to hide behind. And maybe most importantly, no oversimplifying the really tough issues. The goal here is just the unvarnished truth. So who gets a seat at this table then? I mean, who are these candid, unfiltered conversations really designed for? It really breaks down into 3 core groups. First, you've got the hands-on pros in IT and digital who want to see the bigger picture. Then there are the aspiring leaders who need to understand that next level of strategic thinking. And finally, the key decision makers who are out there looking for unbiased perspectives to help shape their own strategies. And for those aspiring leaders, this is absolutely crucial. I mean, whether your goal is to become a manager, then a director, or maybe one day even a CIO, these insights are meant to demystify what's expected at each and every level and really help you navigate that challenging career path. Okay, so let's get into the playbook itself. What kind of practical, nuts and bolts content can you actually expect to find? It's all structured around 5 key content pillars, and every single one is designed to give you practical, actionable value. Okay, here we go. First up, objective tool evaluations, cutting through all that marketing hype. Then, clear career frameworks to help you move into senior leadership. We'll also look at where AI is actually working in the enterprise, not just where it's being talked about. You'll get practical playbooks for executing projects that deliver real results. And the heart of it all, unfiltered stories from the front lines, the wins, the failures, and all the tough lessons learned along the way. But let's be honest, there's so much tech content out there. So what really makes this different? Well, it all comes down to exposing this hidden layer of decision-making that you almost never, ever hear about publicly. And this is the key. The real story isn't just about the technology itself. It's about how senior executives, the CIOs, the CEOs, the whole C-suite, actually make decisions about it. It's the strategic thinking, the political navigation, the financial trade-offs. That's the stuff that drives these huge initiatives. And that's the layer this channel promises to finally reveal. And the motivation for all this is really personal. The creator admits that so much of what they learned came from just trial and error. So this channel is really an attempt to provide the kind of mentorship they wish they'd had, a way to give others the structured, experience-based insights that could have fast-tracked their own journeys. So I'll leave you with this thought to chew on. We live in this age of information overload, right? There are endless articles and videos right at our fingertips. But maybe, just maybe, the most valuable insight isn't the most popular one or the most polished one, but the one that's the hardest to find, the unfiltered truth.